What up, everybody? I am on to my next mod on this truck. Actually, between mods, because I finished the stereo swap, the HVAC and the stereo locations, and I got in the mail just today. Actually, I got the new radio, 9-inch, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, blah blah blah. So I've actually got to modify brackets to make that fit where I need it to, because this is kind of too recessed to receive it, so I need to raise it up about 1.5 inches, and so that's something else I'm working on. But right now, immediately, besides watching random videos of other people with hard bodies, I got a third brake light from the junkyard yesterday. I just kind of was walking around the yard and I kind of wanted to change mine, and I was kind of looking for Frontier or either Titan, but they didn't really look right. They didn't look close enough to it. And out of the corner of the yard, I saw an F250. I think it was an '07, and it was there, just laying with no motor and the bed all fucked up, and it was a straight up work truck that was just kind of at its end of it, at the end of its life. And I saw this tail light, the third brake light for it, and I'm like, whoa, that's really nice, because the two ends of it I could make as a bed light, and then the center I could have as a third brake light. And it's very close, because the hard body one is 9 inches on top, 11 inches on the bottom, and about 1.5 inches on height. This one is 9 inches on top, 11 inches on the bottom, and about almost a 3/4 on the height. And I pulled this one off yesterday to see what it looks like on the inside. And it's very close to being able to receive this. I need to cut it open, make the square cut as this one had on the Ford, and I took measurements of that. So I'll be cutting this one on this truck, and this one should be a pretty easy mod. Looking alright. This is where I'm at. I've made my mark of where my cut will be. Alright, I'm ready to cut. This is what it looks like. So you've always got to protect the surrounding areas, protect your paint, protect whatever else is not your work area. So I've got a little bit of a welding blanket there, fiberglass blanket that's covering the bed box and a little bit of the rails, and and then the top, I took an old bed sheet, wet it down, so when I spark, it doesn't bother my paint. So, all right, what I'm going to use is 3 tools here. Main one, 4.5-inch grinder with a cut disc. It's going to be for the long parts. The short parts are going to be my smaller one. Do a 3-inch disc there. And then for the corners, instead of using a Sawzall with a longer blade, I'm using a little jigsaw with a 32 tip blade. And that's going to be for my corners, finishing it up. So, all right, let's cut. All right, got this cut. Looks like a nice cut with minimal finishing. So, yeah, there's that piece. Right on. And came with this little guy behind. I guess that's for structural support, right on the edge there. But yeah, it's looking good with minimal finishing to do. What is this here? This is what the hell is this? Looks like putty. Looks like epoxy, something weird. It's probably seam sealer, some kind of seam sealer that goes inside before they fully finish the roof. Okay, it looks like we're gonna do a little bit of more trimming to fit this thing in there. Looking good. I've removed the welding blanket there and the bed sheet on top I had there to kind of be careful with sparks on the bodywork. So there are the 2 lights right there. This is the original Nissan 1997 D21 third brake light. This is, what was this, a 2010 F250, I think. So look how similar they are in size. They're very close to each other. So that's why when I was looking at the junkyard, walking around looking for a nice one to adapt to replace this ugly old thing, I found this one. I'm like, oh, that's going to be so cool. So once again, my plan is to be on the outside ones, the clear ones, it's going to be work light or cargo light, and also backup lights, and as well as signals. So I thought it would be so cool if this would signal left, signal right when I fire on the signals. And of course the center's going to be a brake light. But anyway, so I got my hole cut, and this is the light, of course, with no bulbs. Bulbs are right there. So let's see how we look there. So we're kind of close on the passenger side, of course, with a bulb that will not fit, of course, but I'm just kind of sizing it up bare with no bulbs.
close, and then this one hits the bump there. So that bump, that sheet metal, I'm pretty sure that's the dome light on the inside. So I could go forward in putting on these bulbs and making it fit with those bulbs. I'd have to cut this hump, of course, and I have to cut all the way over here because, of course, with this on, once again, it extends me out to a total of about 2¼ inches that I need clearance. So I need to remove the headliner anyway because I'm gonna have to run wires to run the new cargo lights and signals. Brake light, I do have that cord. It's back here. I stuffed it in there somewhere. I do have brake light. That's the only live wire I have. But yeah, do have to remove the headliner to run those wires anyway. And then once I get that out, I'll have to cut this sheet metal, then I'll have to replate it so it can fit the light with the bulbs. But I was kind of thinking right now, do I want to do all that work, or should I just buy LED strips and replace these with LED strips, which will make it shallow? So that's what this one has, or at least I assume this Nissan has. It's so shallow here. So there is no bulb to change. It's just, I haven't even removed it. Maybe I should, but I'm guessing these are LED strips on the inside, and that's what makes it so shallow and nice. If I can make this that same way, then that saves me so much more work. So I think I'm gonna go that avenue. So check this out. I've removed the two screws, just two small Phillips here. Phillips number 2, one on each side, to expose the light bulb strip on the original 97 third brake light. So yeah, for 97 you're not likely to find LEDs. They look to be the same T5s that are on the back of your dashboard. So yeah, that's what makes it more shallow and compact. I'm gonna do this same thing to that, but these are gonna be LEDs and brighter. And of course, my plan is to be more shallow so I don't have to do any cutting on the sheet metal. That'll save me so much work, and thinking about it, I think the LEDs will be brighter than these bulbs will be. So, not that LEDs are not bright. These are pretty bright lights, but I have these on the front end of my bumper, and I have them as switchback as white for fog light, and then the amber, little scooter, the amber is my signal, and they're not very bright. So I think they're going to be much brighter if I run individual strips and then wire them in, and that's going to give me a more shallow backspace and much less work. So I'm going to go that avenue for sure. This is how I'm going to start. So I'm going to take this 4.5-inch grinder right here with the cutting disc. I'm going to start cutting from the top side, and I'm going to cut very flat and parallel with the clear lens that is on the outside. That way, when I make my board on the back side, it will have the light bulbs shooting straight directly 90 degrees with that lens. And that's what I want. I want a direct light to the back. I don't want it shining like this. I don't want it shining like that. I want it straight on. So I'm going to make a very straight cut, as straight as I can, with this faceplate right here, and then I'll worry about making my black plastic plate, which will have all the holes for the sockets that will hold the light bulbs. So to start, let's make our cut on top. Took a slice out of the top. We're halfway there. Here's my marking on the bottom side. I'm going to follow those lines, and then we go forward with making our plate. There it is. Cut on top, cut on bottom, nice and dirty. Get this stuff out. Here are the stuck to the rag here. Here are my reflective pieces here. So yeah, and I'm not going to worry about these reflective pieces. I'm going to have plenty of LED bulbs that I won't need to reflect to amplify the lights or move it forward. So yeah, all right, good, looking good. I'm liking it. Just a quick fit up here. It looks so good. Nice and flat. Of course, this will take a black gasket, like a rubbery, cushiony type of gasket when I do ultimately mount it. But there's my cuts, and I just kind of finished it off really quick with a 80 grit flap disc, nice and flat. And I've got plenty of room for the bulbs. Once again, I'm going to use these T10 bulbs, so they won't stick out very far. I'll have plenty of room for them, and I'll have a room for putting as many as I'd like. I think I'll probably do 3 and 3 here, so 3 amber, 3 clear, and then right here on the reds I'll probably do 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So yeah, but I don't know, I'm not there yet. That's just a guessing I'm just completely guessing on the number of bulbs I'm going to use. Of course, I'll see when I ultimately make the back plate and then see how many I have room for. Looking good. Love it. Get in there. All right.
We're looking fantastic. So there's my lens, of course. I need to build the backing pieces that will hold the sockets and the bulbs. Here's one put together. So it's really nice and compact. It only takes up a 1/2 inch hole. So considering that, oh, by the way, these are oversized. See, these are my pieces that I cut right there. They're oversized because I'm gonna bend down maybe a 3/8 inch on each side, so I could have a little bit of a rise above the pocket there, the hole that I'm gonna fill, and eventually I'm gonna weld it all in. Reason why I need the rise is because here's the bulb and socket, and if it was flat to it, it hits the lens. So that's why I need a little bit of a rise, and that will accommodate the socket to seat into the plastic and be far enough away where it's not touching the lens. So anyway, what I'm gonna do here is I got new bulbs. So these are my reds, my super whites, and my ambers. Ambers, obviously signals. These are gonna be running light, sorry, cargo light and backup lights, and then these will be running light and stop lights. These are not two-stage, and these are not two-stage sockets either. So what I'm gonna do, I think I have plenty of room, considering that it's only a 1/2 inch hole. I think I have enough room to run 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So I think I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3 as running light, and then the other 3 will light up when the brake light comes on. That way I'll get double red, and it'll be significantly stronger than the other 3. Running 6 versus 3. So 3 for running light, 3 for all of them brake light. So 3 more for brake light. So I'm gonna do something similar for the side pieces, where I probably have enough room for 5. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably like that. I don't know, I'm not there yet in drilling, but I'm gonna do the same thing with the signal lights and the running cargo light and backup light. So I'm not there yet though, but I'll see how much room I have for them after I do my bends and get to drilling.
I'm a little further along and it's looking great. So that's the idea right there. So
This still needs to be drilled, and ultimately when the holes are done and everything's sized up perfectly, I'm gonna plastic staple that and then plastic weld it to make sure it's nice and strong. The bottom part I'll very likely just leave open as a drain, also so it doesn't trap moisture. The top part, once it's welded and all that, I can either weld it or epoxy it. I think I'm gonna just epoxy it. I'm not sure, but I've got to make sure that doesn't allow water to get in there. So I'll do something to cover the top part. The bottom part is okay because gravity is gonna drop down the water, but if I leave it open on top, that's bad. But anyway, I just thought I'd show how I'm making these bends. Real simple. This is just about 1/8 inch plastic. Made my marks. I got the last one ready to bend. Got it on my vise. So I've got the lines lined up right there. Real simple. I just take my little micro torch, which I use for soldering. I just kind of get it hot on the backside, get it hot, not too hot. You don't want to burn the plastic. Once it starts getting warm enough and you pull on it, give it a little bit of tension there, torque it a little bit, it's going to start to softly come down. I just bring it down and up to where it's about 90 degrees, and there's my bend. So that's how I'm doing my bends. Pretty simple. Once again, don't heat it up too much. You don't want to burn it, just enough to bend it. I decided to just kind of staple on a little strip. So I cut some strip. It was much longer than this. Of course, I cut it into the thirds that I needed. This one is done. I'm just gonna put it, I thought about welding it, but then like I might interfere a little bit, but not really, into the staples. So to start, I just kind of stapled it with plastic staples. That's this gun right here. You get these corner staples here. There's different kinds you have when you buy these kits. So I'm going from outside corners. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4. Likewise, this one I just finished. I need to cut off the little excess there. 1, 2, 3, 4. About to do this one right here, and then that'll be filled with epoxy, and that'll be that. Then that'll be ready to drill, and then fill in with staples on this side, stapling it into the housing itself. So it's gonna go just like that. Open on the bottom, like I said, and then covered on top. Keep it away from weather, keep it away from water. So that's what I'm gonna do. So just some quick 5-minute epoxy on top. That'll be just fine. Looking pretty good. So there's my big one. I just used 5 staples. See how that works? Right on the corner, just kind of burns in. and you cut off these little prongs. And that's about it. I'll just clean these up, meaning I'll trim them off, and then I'll just kind of fill it with epoxy. Another reason why I'm also using epoxy is because, well, one, it's quicker than actually just plastic welding everything. But also, I want it to leave it kind of sort of nice. If I weld it, it's gonna leave these all like funky looking. You could see that I was passing over with the iron, the plastic welding iron. So epoxy will be quicker, and it'll be a little bit of a nicer, cleaner look. Even though you're not gonna see this at all, it's gonna be on the back side, of course. So that's the avenue we're going. So epoxy, and then we'll drill our holes. Looking good so far. I just kind of propped it up with tape. So there's my bottom sides there, and then there's my epoxy, pretty much cured. It's been on there like 30-35 minutes, so it's plenty of time to cure. So yeah, so I just kind of put it on with tape so I could size it up on the truck, on the hole of where this is going to sit, and it clears just fine. So I'm good to go. Good to go forward. So I'm going to mark my marks where my sockets will be for the lights, and drill my lights out, or drill my holes for the sockets for the lights, and then clean them up on the inside. Then ultimately, when I'm happy, I'll staple these in and do some plastic welding and button it up with more epoxy, make sure everything's sealed, and then we can start to do the wiring for all the lights, the different lights. All right, awesome. Looking hella good. So there's the first 3. I do have clearance for 6, so 3 more. All done drilling. Looking pretty good. So I did 5 holes on the side ones, able to fit them, and they fit just snugly enough, very nicely. So what I'm gonna do, I think, on these 5 holes, the center 3, the triangle, will be my white lights for backup and cargo lights, and the outer 2, those will be my amber bulb for signals. So that's gonna look pretty cool. It should be so bright. It should be really bright in theory, considering how many bulbs are going in each pocket. So, all right, got my holes drilled. Next is to line them up where they're gonna go, and then staple them in, and yeah, do the final finishing work, and then ultimately the electrical. We're looking so good. So that's everything attached. It's got the staples on there and fresh epoxy. I put it in about 12-13 minutes ago. It's still warm. When epoxy is taken off, when it's curing, it gets warm, it gets hot, then it solidifies. But while that's happening, I am going to do my wiring, wire these things together. The bulbs that go together will be wired together. In case you don't know, on LED lights, you need to connect in parallel. You cannot connect in series, for example, like this, you know? So you have 3 lights there. You cannot connect hot side and then series negative side. They must be in parallel. So, oh, there's another staple I need to put away. So they must be wired like this. Straight to positive, straight to negative. Cannot be in series. So, yeah, so we're all done pretty much. Just got to do the wiring. All the epoxy is there. It's curing. Make sure there's no moisture or water able to come in from the top or the sides, and open on the bottom so it can vent. Right on. Cool. Looking good so far. Almost ready to install. Right on. Looking good. So it's the next day. My 5-pin connectors should arrive today. I figure in the meantime, while I'm waiting for that, I would just remove the lights and get access to all the wiring. It looks like it's going to be pretty easy. I already see daylight through there. What I did was I removed the seat. There's my Honda seat. Remove the seat and remove the column. I already have my wires here exposed for left and right turn signal. That's these right here that I did about 2 years ago when I installed my mirrors, and the mirrors have the signals in them, so that's why I have these already ready to go. So I'll just splice and tap into these 2, and those will feed through there, through this jump seat area here, and then up the headliner, and then out the back, and that'll be left and right signal, as well as I'll run one for running lights, and the one that's already ready there is brake lights. So yeah, shouldn't be so bad. So I'm waiting for my 5-pin connectors, like I said, and also ordered some diodes. I'm gonna run some diodes because the work light I'm gonna run, which is the white light, I'm gonna run as both the work light, which is the cargo light, and also backup light. So when this illuminates,
that will illuminate. But it's also going to be in a separate switch for cargo light in the dashboard, and that's going to light that up. And the reason for the diodes is so when I switch that on here for cargo light, that will only light that up and not transfer electricity through to feed the backup light. So that's the reason for the diodes. It's basically a one-way for electricity. I'm also going to do the same thing for the brake light also, because I'm going to run 3 lights for running lights and all 6 will illuminate for brake light. And reason for a diode in there, so the power from the other 3 doesn't go through as running light, something like that. But yeah, that's the reason for the diodes. So waiting for the diodes and waiting for the connector. And in the meantime, I'll run my wires and just have them ready when they arrive, and then that should be it. And then I'll just have to do this body work here and ultimately paint. Now that the truck is pretty much all wired up and ready to receive the light, I'm doing the harness for the light itself, so I could just plug it in and be done with it. So I wanted to show the action of the diodes. So these are the diodes that came in the mail. The colored ring right there, that silver ring, that's the direction forward toward your light bulb or motor, whatever you're running. So for example, from your power source, your switch, your battery, whatever, it goes through the diode on the forward direction, and on the other side is where your workpiece is, your bulb or your motor, like I said. So here it is in action, what I'm doing. So this wire right here, this is going to be my brake light wire. Goes through here, feeds those 3, also goes through the diode, feeds those 3. So that energized wire will feed all 6 lights to give me a brake light, really bright brake light. And like I earlier said, I'm only going to use 3 of them for a running light. So 3 will be running lights and all 6 will be brake light. So brake light wire feeds all 6. This is the light, this is the wire for the running lights that goes on this side of the diode and feeds only those 3. Energy cannot pass through the diode to feed those other 3. So parking lights, all 6 brake light. And you need the diode to prevent the energizing of these lights through those lights, because it's only a one-way. It cannot go that way. It's only forward that way. I've got every bulb accounted for now. Last one is the 3 and 3 cargo lights / reverse lights. If you don't have a set of these helping hands, you need to get these, especially if you're going to do a lot of soldering and electrical welding, you know. So yeah, so there's my union right there, all 6 wires that go to the light bulbs. And then there is another diode right there. So my black wire, I've decided, is going to be from my backup light. That's energized from the backup light that comes from the transmission signal when you go in reverse. The blue one is cargo light. So what I've done here is black wire, once again, is backup light. Backup light will energize through the diode all 6 bulbs. The blue wire, cargo light only. It's gonna come here, energize all 6 bulbs for only cargo light, but power will not go to the wire that goes to the backup lights on the tail lights. So that's what I want. So that's how you use the diode. So I'm gonna get this soldered, and that'll be that. That'll be that for this plug. Then we go install and clean everything up. Almost done. Look at that. Look at those bulbs. They look pretty good, even not illuminated. It's a lot of light it's gonna throw out, hopefully. So this is done. Just need to connect all my grounds, all the grounds to one, and then do the other plug, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, all soldered in, all wired in, ready to mount. Here's a quick check. Got the switch on. Okay, parking light, 3 bulbs. Brake light, while the light's on, here we go. Focus, okay. Parking light, here goes brake. All 6 light up. Lights off, here goes brake. All 6 light up. Release brake, parking light. With brake, awesome, okay. Left signal, and we're opposite, so here we go, left signal. Amber, looking good. Right signal. All right, 4-way flashers.
Yeah. All right, cargo light. Where is it? Here it is. All right, nice and bright. So 3 bulbs and 3 bulbs. Cargo light. Sweet. Left signal. Still see it. Right signal. It's behind that little thing there. But yeah, looking good. I like it. Right on. Left, right, parking, brake. Good stuff.
I decided to make a last minute change. I've got the camera here on my battery. So the 3 lights I have for running lights, or tail lights, I guess, which is the switch for it. I have those on as running light, and then the other 3 illuminate as brake light. I decided to buy one of these. This is a PWM in electronics. It's a pulse width modulator or modulation. So it's basically a dimmer for LEDs. So it arrived like 2 days ago. So I put a socket and a bulb in there, and my negatives wired up. I juice up, of course that was lit. I juice up the hot side, and I have, yeah, there we go, see? So that's all the way on, that's all the way bright. That would be brake lights, and then I could reduce it down to have all 6 run somewhat like that as running lights. So then when the brake lights hit, they all illuminate. So I could have all 6 on for running lights, and then the separate switch or separate wire will be for brake lights, and then it lights everything up. I think that's going to be a lot better. So for running light, I have all 6 on instead of just 3, and then the brake will be just as normal, all 6. Pretty cool. So I'm going to adapt this thing in to run all 6 lights as running lights, and then brake light will be all of them bright. This is the running light. This is the brake. Okay, brake. Pretty cool, huh? All 6. Left turn. Right turn. 4 ways. Sweet. What else? Ah, cargo light. So a cargo light turns on, but the backup lights on the tail lights do not turn on. This is only a cargo light switch. This is the purpose of oh my god, I'm blanking out. Those resistors, oh my god, the diodes. That's the purpose of running the diodes. That way when I turn on one, it doesn't light up the other. The diodes make electricity go only one way. So that's the work light. And then when I go reverse, the reverse lights turn on with the cargo light. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I know you can't see the reverse lights on, but reverse lights are on the tail lights of the truck, and that lights up the work light. Let's see, real quick rundown. So that's running lights, brake light. This is a brake light by itself with no running light. This is left turn, right turn, running light, left turn, right turn, holding brake light, left turn, right turn, and cargo light holding, yeah, running lights, there's cargo lights, and then brake light, cargo light. Alright, that's it. Right on. Thanks for watching my silly little videos and things I do to my little truck. Pretty happy with it. So far, it looks good. I like it. It's definitely different. And yeah, it's very close fit F250 into the Hardbody factory third brake light. All right, right on. Cool. See you guys.